Hi students, I wanted to show you a little bit about the monochromatic painting warm-up and process. This applies to all sections of painting except for those in 28 who have already completed a value study monochromatic and local color moving forward. Those of you in Art 26, this will be your second painting. Those of you in 27, this will be your first on a larger scale, more elaborate. There are a couple differences, but mostly it's the same. One is that you are only allowed to choose yellow, red, or blue when you're in beginning. And in intermediate, you have to choose a tertiary, hyphenated color from the wheel. Also, the images that you're selecting from already imply monochromatic in Art 26. In other words, they get you going in terms of where you might want to put your tints, shades, and tones. But you're going to elaborate on that. And those in 27 are working from a black and white image. So you're actually going to selectively choose throughout the whole thing where you want to put your tints, shades, tones, and achromatic values. So basically, just like the first one, you're going to grid it. You're going to pick your image, select your image, grid it if you feel you need to. I think it's helpful to get started with those. And then you're going to apply it to the larger board. And then you have your warm-up scale. So I picked green only because I have a ton of green and I don't have a whole lot of the others right now, and I don't want to do tertiary because it's a little more complex, and that's what I want to save for my students in 27 to explore creating a tertiary and then repeating that color through mixing as well as mixing with black, gray, and white. But in this case, I'm just using right out of the tube color, just like your red, blue, and yellow. Now, similar to blue and red, this is very limited in the sense of it's all the same hue throughout. Those of you who are choosing yellow, or a tertiary in 27 that is yellow-orange, yellow-green, towards the top of the wheel, oranges, they come out olive green. So technically when you choose a color that's at the top of the wheel and start making a monochromatic scheme, you end up getting an olive green. It sort of feels like two colors. But it can also be weird for people. Like you think yellow would be all bright all the way through, but the minute you add gray to it, it changes. So once you pick your image and once you pick your color scheme, you're going to build this. Now this is a rough sketch. You'll probably be better off doing it in squares so you can practice your hard edge. But what we're looking for are even steps. This is light gray plus green, middle gray plus color, dark gray plus color. This is tints. Tints is when you add white to a hue. Hue is another word for color. And white, you can think of it as tint has an I in it, white has an I in it. Shades, black has an A in it, shades have an A in it. So you have your shades, your tints, and your tones. So that's how you want to speak about these things when you're talking about it. These will be your chromatic grays. In other words, they're gray with a color in it. These are your original from the last project, achromatic, which means there's no color in it. These are optional to add in, but use them selectively because they can be very flat compared to these. For example, in the background, like here on this picture, I would never use pure black. Black can really make things flat, so I would take green and I use one of my shades, maybe this one, to put in the back. It's more effective. So that's it. We're going to do the scales, pick the picture, draw the line drawing, and then similar to the first one, we're going to start blocking in washes, diluted washes throughout. I'm going to go ahead and start putting washes back here because it's so dark back there. Very diluted, big washy brush, and just start blocking in those values throughout. And then I can block in values in between here too, like over here. And I can start even doing that cross contour mark where I get the sense of how it moves. Now this is background, so I can do crisscross, crisscross, crisscross. I just happen to be using a board that there's extra room on the side. But if you have already done this and taken a picture, you can paint right over it. Just be sure you do it and take a picture and it looks even. And then you get your line drawing on, and then we'll start blocking in values. Like there's a light, you can see right here, See that dark in the middle of that pot? I can come over here and go, boom. That's what I mean about blocking in loose values. You can also practice a little cross contour, figure out the way things move. Like this tabletop, it's a cement ledge and then it goes down here in the front. So I would go like this, down here in the front. You can even use an old brush from a hardware store because it actually creates some interesting brushy lines that create some cross contour. But again, look, I can put a little green in with my black in the back. Build up gradually, and then we're gonna take a look at the scales that you photograph and line drawing and move on from there. I'll do more painting on this later because what you're doing while you're going along is making decisions. Where do I want my tints? Here, obviously, I want those light. You want to match the values, but you get to choose where your bright color is. What do you want to emphasize? You choose where your neutrals are. You choose where your lights and darks mixes are. And you've constantly got this palette as a reminder of what you're working with. So cross contour, value, shapes of value diluted, rendering, value scale, good to go. Bye.